a revelatory energy. It shows you something that has been hidden in plain sight all along. This is about us taking responsibility for what we've created, especially on a physical level, in this lifetime that's preventing us from aligning with our destiny. This is where we're in this fated zone where fated opportunities, fated blessings can come our way, and Venus is highlighting that. Hi everyone, Heather here with Astrology with Heather.com, and I am back with another super exciting extended 2-week forecast. This one is for April 16th all the way through to April 29th, the entire waning phase of the lunar cycle, beginning with the full moon in the sign of Libra. And this full moon is a big energy. It's a mixed bag of energy, just like we've been experiencing for the past couple of months, and just like we'll continue to experience for the next couple of weeks. We have some of the most beautiful, most positive, most opportunistic energies that we could have in the astrology in the next couple of weeks, but we also have an energy around crisis, around deep psychological wounds being exposed, around the truth being revealed in a way that can feel deeply uncomfortable or deeply unnerving. We have such a crazy, just conglomeration of energies going on right now that seem to be discordant, but they're working kind of alongside each other. So we have, on the one hand, this really powerful energy of the Jupiter-Neptune conjunction, which is still ongoing. If you haven't already watched my video on this conjunction and how this is going to impact you and your sign, it's floating around somewhere up here, so make sure you watch it after you're done with this one so you can get more information about that. But this is being activated through the end of the month up until Jupiter leaves the sign of Pisces and moves into the sign of Aries in May, which is a topic we'll be covering in a future video. We have Venus, which is one of the benefic influences coming into a conjunction with Neptune and with Jupiter at the end of this month, just in time for the kickoff of our next eclipse season. We have Venus and Neptune still in a really close trine with the karmic lunar nodes, especially that south node in the sign of Scorpio. So this is where we're in this fated zone where fated opportunities, fated blessings can come our way, and Venus is highlighting that. But in order to get there, there's something that we haven't been acknowledging, or that we haven't had the ability to see clearly. It's like it's been right in front of our faces, and maybe even we've seen it a little bit, or it's been brought to our attention, but we've swept it under the rug because it was uncomfortable or we didn't want to take notice. And what I'm talking about here, what I'm referring to, is the activation of the Pluto-Eris conjunction, which is ongoing and came exact all throughout 2020 and into 2021. This full moon energy is activating that square between Eris and Pluto, the Pluto-Eris square. And, this is a big energy. Eris is a dwarf planet that lies kind of beyond. It's not across the ecliptic like all of the other planets. It has a very irregular orbit. And Eris is actually the reason that Pluto lost its designation as a true planet and was demoted to a dwarf planet, right? And so Eris is, in Greek mythology, the goddess of discord and strife. However, in the astrology, Eris as a body tends to be a revelatory energy. It shows you something that has been hidden in plain sight all along. It's been in front of your face, but you didn't have the eyes to see it or the ears to hear it until just now. And so this is going to illuminate something that you need to see, that you need to hear, that you need to know about. Secrets will be revealed. It could also be that your secret is being revealed to somebody else and they're finally seeing your true nature, and maybe they don't like it, and that could be a source of discord. Another common thing that's been happening with activations of this transit is that you're going to find stuff about yourself that you don't like, especially if you have a lot of cardinal energy. And cardinal energy means having a lot of planetary placements in Aries, Cancer, Libra, or Capricorn, the cardinal signs. The cardinal signs were hit really hard the past couple of years. It's lightened up a little bit right now, but this is going to bring in a little bit of that turbulence. It's going to bring in a reflection of some of the stuff that was brought up last year and the year before. And if you didn't address it then, if you didn't want to see it, or maybe if it wasn't fully revealed to you in a way that you had the ability to consciously comprehend, now's the time where that can happen. There's integration that needs to take place in one area of life so you can take hold of the opportunities and take advantage of the blessings coming in another area of life. And that's a big part of what's going on over these next 2 weeks. But before we get into that, I just want to mention, for those who are new to my channel, hello, my name is Heather Eland. I'm a professional astrologer and astrology teacher, and I specialize in teaching astrology students to give meaningful, accurate astrology readings with confidence. And if you are interested in learning more about astrology or keeping up with what's going on in the cosmos here and now, make sure you subscribe to my channel so you never miss an important astrology update. I upload a new weekly video every single Saturday at 9 a.m. Mountain Daylight Time. And yeah, and the way that I structure these videos is I always start with a 5 to 10 minute general overview of the astrology for the next 2 weeks. Don't skip this because it's going to provide an important context for the more personalized forecast that I do for all 12 signs. When we get into the forecast for all 12 signs, make sure you listen to your sun sign, your moon sign, and your rising sign to get a more holistic overview of the energy for the next 2 weeks ahead. The rising sign is the most predominant energy, your sun sign is secondary, and the moon sign is important to listen to as well, although this energy will be more internalized and subjective. Finally, at the end of each video, I give a short 2 to 3 minute overview of next week's forecast, or the next 2-week forecast, which will be about the partial solar eclipse happening in the sign of Taurus at the end of this month. Stick around until the end if you're interested in that. Getting back into the astrology for the next 2 weeks. Full moon in Libra, big full moon. So we have this full moon activating the Pluto-Eris square in a very tight square with Pluto. So it's making a T-square with Pluto, because when the sun, or when the moon is full, it means that the sun and the moon are in an opposition aspect. They are opposite one another from our perspective here on Earth. And Pluto is sandwiched right in between at a 90-degree angle between those two planets. And so that's called a T-square, where it's really focused in on this Pluto energy. Pluto is the planet that represents psychological and emotional intensity. It can bring about, especially in square, some sort of psychological, spiritual, or emotional crises. And in this particular circumstance, because the moon is involved, I think that what's being revealed to us around the time of the full moon, which happens on the 16th of April, will cause a little bit of a crisis. It could be like an internal crisis. It could be something external that's coming in, but I think it's most likely going to be an internal intensity and reaction to what's being brought up and what's being revealed about us, like on a personal level internally, and about our external circumstances, and who we're surrounding ourselves with and what we're surrounding ourselves with. It's like there's something here that we just couldn't quite grasp or couldn't quite see just yet. And yeah, so this is going to be an important time for revelations and secrets being revealed, as I mentioned before. This energy, though, is also trining Saturn, and that's good news. Saturn has been the cause of a lot of conflict over the past few weeks because it's been in this square with Uranus ongoing for like over a year now, and that's been activated over and over and over again. We had a Mars-Saturn conjunction at the start of the month, which was a little pressurized. It was like being in a pressure cooker. Go back and watch that video if you haven't already, if you want to learn more about that. And so having this trine to Saturn provides like an outlet for that Saturnian energy. Saturn is in its home sign of Aquarius. It can function very successfully and very adaptively, and it can actually bring us good things when it's being activated in a trine such as this. And so Saturn represents structure. It represents the practical nature of our reality. It represents foresight, especially in the sign of Aquarius, and having the foresight to prepare for whatever it is we want to create for the future, or to prepare for whatever it is that we might encounter in the future, even if it's something we don't want. And so maybe what's being exposed is something that we couldn't see, that is a potential risk or a potential problem that could snowball out of, like, completely out of control and create an avalanche in the future. And we feel like it's a crisis, like, oh my God, how did I not see that person was like this? Who am I going to turn to now? How did I not see that I created this situation for myself? What am I going to do? You know, that type of situation. Well, luckily, Saturn will tell you exactly what to do. Saturn will help you to restructure and to create much better circumstances, to create a platform to build off of that is solid for your future. And so that could be about mitigating future risks and planning for that, or it could be about building toward future rewards and future goals and planning for that. Once we see what's being exposed, we can move on from there and we can take action and put in the work for the long term and for our long-term goals. And that's really what a lot of this energy is about. At the same time as this, we have some more Saturn activation coming toward the end of this month, with Mercury conjunct the North Node and squaring Saturn on the 23rd and 24th of April. This is going to be a karmic energy that's going to show us where we're going to have hurdles and roadblocks that will prevent us from moving forward into the next chapter. With the eclipse season coming, we're moving on to the next chapter when it comes to our fate, our destiny, our karma, the next path that we need to be moving into, and what we need to let go of in order to make that happen in this lifetime. And Saturn's going to show us where we still have work to do and where there are roadblocks and where there are responsibilities and where there are things that we're holding on to that are heavy burdens that might not allow us to move forward into our destinies if we're not careful. And so this is going to be a time of basically a karmic coming to terms with what we've created. Like, this is about us taking responsibility for what we've created, especially on a physical level in this lifetime, that's preventing us from aligning with our destiny and figuring out the next steps from there. That's going to be a big part of the energy for this month ahead. The final thing, of course, is the Venus conjunction to Jupiter and Neptune, which I talked about at the start of this video. That's happening at the very end of this 2-week period, at the end of the month on the 27th and 30th of April. Yeah, that's where we're at. And so, this is going to be a really powerful opportunity. It's kind of like with that Saturn energy being activated, because Saturn's been in a T-square with the nodes for a little while. With that being activated at the same time that this really beautiful energy with the nodes is being activated, this is a time where it's almost as if we can see the opportunity and we can see the benefits. We have an easier time dealing with the struggles and overcoming the hurdles and obstacles in order to get there, in order to take advantage of those opportunities. And it's kind of like, oh my gosh, I have all of this here that's preventing me from moving forward. I have been carrying all this weight, and what have I done? I've created this cage for myself, and how do I break free? Well, Jupiter, which is the planet of freedom, comes in with Neptune and helps you to find a really great imaginative way with the help of Venus, which can bring people and situations and a merging together of a combination of energies that can help you succeed, that can provide some sort of outside beneficiary even, that can help pull you out of a bad place. So like I said before, it's a mixed energy. It's like all this really good stuff is happening, but there's struggles at the same time, and they're not combating with each other. That's the nice thing. They're happening kind of in tandem alongside each other, where in one area we have to do some work, but in another area we're reaping rewards. And yeah, it's very interesting. I'm excited to see what happens by the end of this month, especially as we get into the eclipse season. But yeah, that is all I have for you today. And before we get into the forecast for all 12 signs, I just want to mention I have a freebie for you. So if you are somebody who is interested in learning astrology or just better understanding what I'm talking about in these videos, you can always download my Astrology 101 PDF guide for absolutely for free down in the link in the description below. It has all the details you need about the signs, planets, houses, planetary aspects, and more. And so again, the link is down in the description below, free of charge, my gift to you. All right, so let's move into the forecast for all 12 signs. Okay, so for Aries and for Aries rising, the truth that's being revealed to you is something about yourself, your relationships, and your relationship with your work and your career and what it is that you're doing out there in the world. There's something that's being revealed to you in terms of maybe a power struggle or an issue or a secret that's been kept under wraps that's about to be made public. This could be involving your workplace, your boss, your superior, or you yourself within the workplace. And it could literally just be an internal revelation, but it looks more like somebody else is going to be pointing this out to you. So it could be that somebody highlights for you, or your relationship with somebody highlights for you, where you are allowing other people to take the reins and take control and exercise too much power over you when it comes to your career, when it comes to what it is that you're putting out there in the world, or when it comes to your relationship with the world at large. It doesn't have to be involving your career or your work if you're somebody who's not working. This could also be something that's revealed to you about yourself and your own competitive nature, or your own goals and aspirations and ambitions that you have in life. Maybe you've been obsessing over something that you really want to create, a dream that you really want to achieve, and maybe this fixation hasn't been healthy, or you've been fixating in the wrong place. And so a lot of different things could be revealed over the course, especially of this full moon in Libra. And it could also just be that there's something that's being revealed to you about the true nature of an important relationship, especially a business or work related relationship, but a relationship nonetheless. And whatever it is that's being revealed to you there, it could be something that causes a little bit of an emotional crisis. Luckily, you have a good, solid group of people who have your back, it looks like. So, with Saturn moving through Aquarius, you've probably been purging a lot of not extra friendships, but friendships that are not loyal, not trustworthy, not solid, that are not going to stand the test of time, and maybe bringing some new people on your side. And so this is the time where you're really going to see who has your back. Whatever it is that's revealed to you, whatever's brought up to you, whatever it is that you need to change, Saturn is going to help you to put in the work, to put in the effort in order to make the changes that you need to make, but you're going to have some help doing it. So this is where you can really lean on your closest friends, your most loyal friends, your most hardworking friends, your most dependable friends, to help show you the way and help support you through whatever it is that's coming up for you right now. Maybe you need a little help with your career path or with some sort of big goal. Maybe you need a little bit of help in a relationship or with a contract or an agreement. Maybe you just, need some time with your friends and that'll help to put things in perspective and help ground you and bring you back down to earth. There are opportunities coming up for you this month. And these opportunities are looking at ways to rest a little bit more. So even though there's this really obsessive, really driven, really ambitious energy with Pluto in your 10th house being activated, it's almost as if, yes, that's being activated, but you're also being shown that you need a deeper creative practice, a deeper spiritual practice. You need time to rest, to dream, to imagine, to just sit and think and daydream. And that's something that could be coming up for you right now as well. Leaning on that and indulging in it, that's actually going to help you a lot when it comes to reaching those big goals and ambitions and overcoming any sort of emotional or psychological crisis that is stimulated or instigated around the time of the full moon in Libra. Okay, and for Taurus rising. So for Taurus, this full moon is happening in your 6th house, which is the house of health, work, and daily routines. This could be a crisis of just being way too busy that's brought up, where it's being revealed to you something about how your actions on a day-to-day basis in your day-to-day work and day-to-day reality are not aligned with what you truly value and truly believe. You're not in alignment with your integrity. And this could be something that is a shocking revelation to you that causes some sort of inner turmoil or emotional crisis, where it's like, how did I not realize that I am not practicing what I preach? This is the time to take responsibility, take action, to create a better day-to-day routine, a better work-life balance, better work and career routines in general, in order to make sure that whatever it is that you're putting out there, whatever it is you're working toward, is truly aligned with your value systems. That's going to be huge, because this is really exposing how you truly feel about things and what you truly believe and what you truly value. There could be opportunities coming in for you over the next couple of weeks in the area of friends, group associations, and people you surround yourself with by choice that could lead to some sort of fated twist or like a fated blessing that comes through a friend or comes through a group or comes through your social networks. Definitely lean on that and pay attention to it. This is where you're going to find the most pleasant energy and the most joy this month. And if you haven't already done so, make sure you watch my video about the Jupiter-Neptune conjunction so you can learn more about how this is impacting you right now. for Gemini and for Gemini rising. So for Gemini, this full moon is happening in your fifth house, which is the house of joy. It's the house of spontaneity. It's the house of pleasure. It's the house of everything that you do in life that feels good. And so, yeah, this is a time where it could be revealed to you the way that you're getting in your own way, or the way that people are taking power from you and preventing you from fully embodying whatever it is that you are passionate about, whatever it is that brings you the most joy. It could be that your friends and your the opinions of your friends are blocking you and getting in the way. Like, you're allowing their opinions and judgments of what you're doing to control you and prevent you from fully embracing something that you really love, something that you really find pleasure in. And if that's the case, I mean, that's a good time to, rethink those friendships or rethink how much you care about, what they're saying and what they're doing. This is also a time where you could have an opportunity this is about looking at really what you value. So in terms of your philosophies, your higher value systems, your religious belief systems, the things that you hold dear that help frame your reality, your perspective on life. It's looking to that perspective. It's looking at, how do I do the thing that brings me joy and align it with my greatest and highest purpose and greatest and highest integrity, as opposed to focusing too much energy and attention on what other people are thinking about what it is that you're doing, right? It's like, I enjoy this. I'm going to align this with my values and I'm going to do it. It could also be that there's financial pressure that's causing an emotional or psychological crisis that's preventing you, again, from fully embodying that experience of happiness, joy, pleasure, doing something that you really love, like a really awesome hobby or interest that you have. Again, this is about seeing it, because once it's revealed, you can work on it and work through it. Jupiter and Neptune are providing potential opportunities for you with that trine to the South Node. There could be past opportunities coming back around that you maybe thought that you lost sight of, or you weren't going to have again, or you didn't even want to have again, but now they're here and you're like, oh, I actually want this. When it comes to your career, your public reputation, the work that you do out in the world, so definitely pay attention to that. This is a place where you can lean on and you can have a lot of good fortune and positive energy, so long as you're not allowing that psychological crisis to overpower everything, and you're moving away from that a little bit more and embodying the things that bring you joy. So if you haven't already done so, make sure you watch my video on the Jupiter-Neptune conjunction so you can learn more about that. For Cancer and for Cancer rising. So for Cancer, this full moon is happening in your fourth house, which is the house of home, family, property, real estate, your ancestry, your lineage, your roots. This is kind of an interesting energy. So for Cancers, especially if you're a Cancer sun, moon, or rising, anywhere from, I would say, 20 to 30 degrees, but especially around that 25th to 29th degree, you're going to be feeling this very, very intensely. This could bring up a major crisis, a series of crises, I should say, that could involve or be revealed to you through your family relationships, or through your roots, or through something that's gone on in your past, or through your parents even. There could be some sort of crisis that comes up involving your home, your family, your property, your real estate, and maybe a power struggle or an issue that's being revealed to you involving a contract or agreement around real estate or around your home, your property, something along those lines. But this could literally be a family relationship where you finally see somebody for who they truly are. It's being revealed to you in a way that's illuminated in your face. Maybe you suspected it before, but you couldn't see it fully, and now you see it and you have to figure out what to do about it. Luckily, Saturn is on your side in the 8th house, helping you to work on creating a better balance between especially power and control issues involving your family. Or if it's very literally a contract agreement negotiation involving your home or your property, like a mortgage or lease agreement, Saturn's helping you again to either get the financing you need to fix the problem, or to make sure that you have a better distribution of power when it comes to the contract that you're signing, things of that nature. So it's going to take a little bit more work and a little bit more time, but you can get there and you can resolve this. Again, seeing it is the very first step, like seeing it, recognizing it, acknowledging it, and then from there you can build something better. Jupiter and Neptune are going to be activated in your 9th house in trine with the North Node in your 3rd house. Make sure you watch my video on the Jupiter-Neptune conjunction to get a more full rundown on that. But this energy is being activated, and there could be an opportunity for a new educational pursuit, for you to teach something that you're really excited about, or for travel even. So pay attention to that, because whatever it is that comes up for you is a very fated and a very joyful experience. Okay. And then for Leo and for Leo rising. So for Leo, this full moon energy is happening in your 3rd house, which is the house of education, short distance travel, communication, neighbors in your neighborhood, siblings, extended family members, all sorts of things. And so this is an area where something's being revealed to you. It could be that a message comes in, or some sort of communication comes in that exposes the truth about something related to your health, related to your work, related to your daily habits and routines, related to, you being kind of in, I don't want to say like a position of servitude, but it's almost as if it's like you've been doing something to help somebody else because it is the house of service, but you feel like maybe the power dynamic has been abused in some way. And so that could be something that's coming up, and that could be very just literally related to your work. Like maybe your boss has been kind of taking advantage of you and putting on extra work that they should be doing, or something like that. Like something like that could be revealed to you this week. And it's kind of like, wow, this has been happening this entire time. Like how did I not see this, right? It was in my face. I feel so like silly for not understanding what was going on. There could be a little bit of an emotional upset over it, is basically what I'm saying. But there's a way with Saturn in trine and Saturn in your 7th house for you to rebuild that relationship, for you to compromise, for you to create a better, more mutually beneficial relationship, contract, agreement, if it is specific to a person or a situation of that nature. This could also just be that you are busy, busy, busy working, and what's revealed to you is that what you're doing is like truthfully not in alignment with your integrity. Like you thought it was in alignment with your values, or maybe you were just ignoring the obvious because you didn't want to see it, but you're realizing now that the work that you're doing, or something that you're doing on a day-to-day basis, is not in alignment with your values. And that's an issue, right? And that's something that you're going to have to work on realigning over the next few weeks. The other thing that's going on is Jupiter and Neptune in a really nice trine with the South Node in your 4th house. If you haven't already done so, make sure you watch the video on the Jupiter-Neptune conjunction so you can learn more about how this is impacting you. But the main takeaway is that there's some sort of hidden blessing that could be coming through. There could be money coming in from an outside source, or an opportunity coming in for, an investment or resources or something along those lines. This could also just be an opportunity for learning or for healing, especially those of you who are interested in things like the occult sciences, magic, astrology, things like that. This could be like a fated opportunity to connect with a new teacher or to learn something new. And so that could be really powerful and really positive. Okay, and so for Virgo and for Virgo rising. So for Virgo, this energy is happening in your 2nd house, so money is on your mind. Something is being illuminated where it could be very literally that a hobby or an interest or a passion project, like a pet project that you have, has been draining your time, your energy, your resources, and you're just now realizing that you've gotten yourself in this hole, and you couldn't see it for what it was because you've invested so much energy into it already, or so much money into it already. It's one of those situations where you can't see it clearly because you've put so much into it and you don't want to see that. And this happens to people all the time. Like think about, you start a project and you've put hours and hours and hours into it, and it's still not working out the way you want it to. So you put in more hours to try to fix it because you've already spent all those hours, and it still gets nowhere. It's like one of those situations, and it could be draining you financially. It could be draining you when it comes to the things that bring you joy, and it could be just time to call it quits, to see it for what it really is, and just start very slowly working your way out of it on a day-to-day basis. It could be a work-related project that you felt really passionate about, and now you're seeing, wow, this is fizzling out, this isn't working. Whatever it is, Saturn's on your side. Saturn will help you to restructure and to create something better moving forward, but you have to acknowledge the truth of what's going on first. The Jupiter-Neptune energy is happening in your 7th house. If you haven't already done so, make sure you go in and watch that video about the Jupiter-Neptune conjunction so you can get a more comprehensive overview of it. But blessings could come in through a fated communication that could feel familiar, comfortable. It could feel like you're connecting with somebody who you already know from a previous lifetime, even if you've just met them and they're bringing you these blessings. You feel this strong connection. You feel like this is a really great opportunity, either in a love relationship or a friendship, regardless of what it is. There's somebody coming in, and this somebody is going to help you. And so when that person shows up, and it could even be a current relationship that shows up in a way that feels karmic, and it's like, wow, like this feels extra important. This feels like deja vu. Pay attention to that and run with it, because this is the area where blessings are coming in for you over the next 2 weeks. For Libra and for Libra rising. So for Libra, this full moon is happening in your 1st house. So this is all about you. You are in the spotlight, but it's not going to feel comfortable. This could be the truth being revealed about your involvement, or what you have, the way that you have created your own issues when it comes to your home, your family, your property, your family dynamic or family relationships, your relationships in general. There could be a relationship where you've been blaming the other person for all of the problems, and you realize all of a sudden that you're actually causing a lot of the problems yourself, and that you haven't been taking responsibility for your end of it. On the opposite end, it could be like literally the exact opposite of that, where you realize all of a sudden that you've been letting somebody get away with, all sorts of things. And how did you not see that they were doing this? How did you not see that the power dynamic was so off? And so that could be a part of it too, especially in family relationships. However, this is about balance. This is in your 1st and your 7th house. So this isn't just about blaming the other person and being a victim in the situation. This is more about you looking at it and taking responsibility for your role in allowing this to happen, or ignoring the problem for too long, or whatever it is that comes up for you. So it's looking at not just what they did, but also what you've done to contribute to whatever it is that's causing this emotional crisis. And that being said, there's ways to get out of this, and that's going to be really apparent as well. This is about getting unstuck, changing your ways, not fixating so much on whatever issues are going on in your home life, your family life, your relationships, and focusing more on building a life that facilitates true joy and creative expression and fun and pleasure. This is Saturn in your 5th house, where you have to work a little bit harder for it. You're creating a platform for the future so you can do the things that you enjoy way more so. This could even be you like wanting to take something that you love already and turn it into something practical. That could be that Saturnian component. But there's something you have to transform or let go of in order to make that happen, especially if you're a Libra sun, moon, or rising. Anywhere from 25 to 29 degrees, you'll be feeling that intensity the most. There's some really good energy, though, going on in terms of your day-to-day habits, routines, your health. And there could actually be some sort of fated opportunity to take on some sort of project, or something work-related that comes up that could help you recoup some resources that maybe you've lost in the past, or even bring in new resources in a completely different sort of fated karmic way. And so whatever's going on for you, whatever opportunities are coming up for you when it comes to your work, or when it comes to maybe even just a small project, if you're not somebody who's working, it could be financially beneficial, especially if it doesn't seem to be, if that makes sense. It's like, I don't know that this is going to be financially like viable or anything like that, but it seems like a good opportunity, or it seems like a really good way to give back or help this person, so I'm going to do it. And then you could end up having unexpected financial rewards kind of come in as a result of that. If you're doing it for the financial rewards, it's probably not going to work that way, just so you know. All right. And so for Scorpio and for Scorpio rising. So for Scorpio, this full moon is happening in the 12th house. And with this Pluto in the 3rd house, the Sun in the 6th house, this very literally looks like a secret coming out into the open, a secret being exposed. It's most likely something that somebody's been saying behind your back, or a secret that you didn't know about, but it could be one of your own secrets that's coming out into the open and being revealed, and it could feel deeply uncomfortable. It could also just be that there's a subconscious or internal revelation about yourself and your reality and your situation that you didn't realize, and it comes up for you, and simulates a little bit of an emotional, spiritual, or psychological crisis. But regardless of what's going on here, this full moon in Libra is an optimal time to spend time in solitude, seclusion, reflection, contemplation. This is not a social full moon for Scorpios. You're getting ready for, yeah, a lot of big energy with the eclipses coming up, and this is a time for you to prepare for that and purge. And so whatever's coming up for you, you know, there's something here. It could also be like a family secret, or like a secret that comes up that causes you to restructure your relationship with your family. That could be a big one too, now that I'm looking at this. But that actually can be resolved quite easily. It's just going to require time, right? Everything gets better, in terms of wounds and things like that. It heals over time, but also you putting in the effort and the dedication to work through it and work on it and to overcome it and to set up a better foundation for the future. What's really great is that, especially if you're a Scorpio, sun, moon, or rising, anywhere from 20 to 30 degrees, you have this beautiful trine energy between the south node on your ascendant, sun, or moon, and Jupiter and Neptune, which if it's your ascendant, it's in your fifth house. So this is a time where, even though, yes, there's a little bit of a crisis activation at the start of this 2-week period, you have some beautiful, beneficial, just really powerful energy where you can experience extreme states of joy and fun and happiness and pleasure. Focus on doing the things you love, because these types of opportunities don't come around very often, and this could lead to something fated, like a fated shift in direction, the thing that you've been waiting for that you didn't even know that you were waiting for. So focus more on what you love and what you're passionate about, and less about all these little, things that are going on behind the scenes, or less on working and toiling away for the next couple of weeks. And I think you'll enjoy what happens. All right, for Sagittarius and Sagittarius rising. So for Sagittarius, this energy is happening in your 11th house. So this is not the worst energy for Sagittarius. There could be a weird issue that comes up though. It could be involving your children and finances, or your friends and finances. Don't mix money and friendship right now. And if you have, the unfortunate results of that might be revealed to you in a way that you hadn't known about or expected. So, that's just what it is. And it's about taking responsibility for what you've created and working on setting the stage or the framework for really good, solid, clear communication about your intentions and about how you're going to resolve these issues moving forward. That could be setting those clear expectations and even contracts or agreements with your partner, especially if that's what it is, like maybe your ex and your children or something like that, or setting really solid, clear expectations with your friends around your financial involvement in something, if that's what's going on here. In general, it could just be that you realize that you've been obsessing over something financially and it's been preventing you from just enjoying yourself and spending time with your friends and doing things that you love, or even focusing on your children, because you've been so obsessed with whatever is going on financially. Maybe you're trying to save, maybe you're trying to pay off debt, maybe you're just struggling, and that's been like a mental area of focus. And it's being revealed to you that that's been detrimental beyond just the financial. And so these things are coming up. The mindset work is what's going to really help there. So focusing on reframing your brain and thinking about things differently, very deliberately on a day-to-day basis, and also just reframing your communication with people around this situation. What's good though is that your family dynamic this month actually looks great. Like there's some really great opportunities involving your home, your property, your family, your real estate, your ancestry, your lineage, your roots. That is where the Jupiter-Neptune conjunction is happening. If you haven't already done so, make sure you watch that video on the Jupiter-Neptune conjunction to get a more comprehensive overview of the energy for the next few weeks still. But this is almost like if you spend time at home with your family, focusing on just resting, relaxing, things will come up naturally that can help you move into a new path when it comes to your work and the things that you actually do out in the world. So by doing less, you're going to actually be more productive right now and over the next couple of weeks. All right. And for Capricorn and Capricorn rising. So for Capricorn, this full moon is happening in your 10th house, which is the house of career, public reputation, the energy that you put out into the world, and the legacy you leave behind after your working years. And so this is this is a little bit of a tough one. So there's an opportunity that you've been working for and working toward when it comes to creating a better financial situation for yourself through the work that you're doing, through your career, for a lot of you. Or it could be that you're working towards something, maybe saving for retirement or something like that. That could be part of it too. You've been working hard towards some sort of financial goal, work related or otherwise. And there's something going on here where there's a bit of a crisis. And so, especially if you're a Capricorn, sun, moon, or rising, anywhere from 25 to 29 degrees, you're going to be feeling the more difficult end of this the most. But there's definitely a way out of this. So keeping your eye on the prize and making sure that you're being very strict and very disciplined with yourself, and you're focusing only on what's tangible, what's real, what's grounded, and what's true, as opposed to focusing on your own inner emotional state when it comes to whatever's being brought up. That's going to help you to stay the course, and that's going to help you to continue to accomplish your goals. But what could be happening here is a power struggle or a power dynamic could be revealed to you involving your work or involving your family. But the good news for Capricorn and Capricorn rising is that you have a really great energy in the area of communication and relationships right now. Over the next 2 weeks, this is a really great time to connect with your friends, your social networks, the people that you surround yourself with by choice. Faded communications, faded ideas, faded opportunities, these can all come around for you right now. And it could even be like a faded travel opportunity or something along those lines. There's a lot of benefits in the area of short distance travel, vehicles even, that type of thing that could be coming around for you in the next couple of weeks. If you haven't already done so, make sure you watch my video on the Neptune-Jupiter conjunction to learn more about the full range of benefits you'll experience from that. Okay, and for Aquarius and Aquarius rising. So for Aquarius, this full moon is happening in your 9th house, which is the house of potentially travel, but it's really the house of perspective. It's the house of your values. It's the house of your principles. It's the house of your integrity. It's how you frame your reality and understand your reality through your perspective, your own unique perspective on life that you've gained through your experience, through your studies, through your own form of ethics and morality. And that's being challenged a little bit. There could be something that you said or some message or communication that came in, or something even going on in your immediate environment, in your neighborhood, or with your siblings or extended family members, or your neighbors and your community members in general, that could be exposed and brought out into the open. And you're like, oh my goodness. I did not realize that I was aligning with this. This is not what I thought it was. It could very literally be that you joined some sort of community organization or some sort of neighborhood group and you thought it was one thing, and somehow you're like, how did I not see that it was actually this completely different thing, and I don't want to be a part of this. Luckily, this is not the worst possible energy. It's kind of like a secret very literally being revealed. It could even just be like there's a secret revealed about one of your neighbors and it's like scandalous, it's like, oh my gosh, how could that be? And it could just cause a little bit of a ruckus or a crisis or throw things off kilter. But for the most part, this is not the worst energy for Aquarius. This is actually alleviating a lot of the pressure and a lot of the burden that's been placed on you because Saturn's been transiting your sign. It's helping you to see a bigger perspective and a broader picture on why you've been working so hard, on what this all means, on what this all is leading to. This is going to be a massive shift in perspective when it comes to the work that you're putting in to change your life, to become who you want to be moving forward instead of who you're expected to be by other people. And so this is going to be a big moment in time for that, where maybe there's something going on or somebody who's working against you behind the scenes that comes up, where there's a secret that's revealed and you're like, wow, I thought you were on my side, but actually you're not. You want me to be this person and I actually am trying to become more like this. And that is another thing that could be coming up for you. So once it's revealed, it's a lot easier to see it, to work with it, to use it. But it could be a little bit upsetting in the moment. There's actually a lot of potential career-wise and financially coming up for you in the next couple of weeks too. And so pay attention to financial opportunities, benefits, rewards. Money could just come in a way that feels faded. It could come through past work experiences or a past opportunity that you did take advantage of and all of a sudden money flows in, or it could bring some sort of new opportunity. And definitely If you haven't already done so, make sure you go and watch the video I did for the Jupiter-Neptune conjunction for all 12 signs to get more info on that. But it could also even be money coming in for something involving your family, your home, your property, real estate. So like a real estate investment or buying real estate, that could be something that could take you on a new path as well. Or there could be a job opportunity that causes you to move, that brings more money in. That'll be more stimulated as we get closer to the eclipses, but all things to look out for. Okay, and for Pisces rising. So for Pisces, the full moon is happening in your 8th house, which is the house of like deep secrets, right? Traumas, psychological issues, things that are kind of more psychological and internal and kept hidden, or things that are taboo to discuss out in the open. That's why it's the house of death, the occult, magic, and also finances. Think about our culture and the way that we, don't discuss our finances or other people's money or our debts or our investments and things like that so openly. And all of these things could be coming up for you right now. So it could be that something is being revealed to you about an investment opportunity that you took hold of that you're like, oh my gosh, how did I sink so much money into this? I was so fixated on it. I feel like I need to cut my losses. Something could be revealed to you involving a past debt or something that you've been wanting to move into in terms of taking out a loan or, a credit card or something like that. This is where some light is being shed on a maladaptive relationship with finances. And that could be your own relationship with finances, your friend's relationship with finances. There's something going on here where there's a psychological or an emotional revelation around the way that you value and use your resources that is kind of shocking to you, where like, I didn't realize this. Or it could be, again, a group mindset or your friends and the way that they use their resources or the way that they feel about money or the way, that type of thing. It could also be a revelation, again, on that psychological and emotional level. Old traumas, old wounds, old insecurities could be bubbling up. But because this is on the axis of the 2nd and the 8th, I do feel like it's going to be more around something tangible and material as opposed to only being purely psychological. The good news is if you're working really hard behind the scenes in order to rectify the situation and to resolve old karma and old patterns around finances, around money, old habits that maybe got out of hand, this could also be, addictions too. So if this is revealing to you some sort of obsession, compulsion, addiction, or some issue around those things, or some issue that a friend has around those things, that could be a big one too. And if you work really hard, or if you help them to work really hard, this can be overcome. It's just going to take pulling you out of the normal day-to-day routine, or pulling them out of their normal day-to-day routines and putting them in a place where they can be on their own or more in solitude, more away from the world. It could even be literally a close friend going to rehab or something like that. But when the work is put in, things can manifest in a really positive way into the future. This is going to create a good foundation for healing. So whatever it is that's coming up, just know that there's a way to work on it. The other thing that's going on here is the Jupiter-Neptune conjunction in your sign, lucky Pisces. And especially if you're a Pisces sun, moon, or rising anywhere from 20 to 30 degrees, you're going to be feeling this really positively. There's a little trine forming here with the North Node and your sun, moon, and rising. This is where opportunities can come that can allow you to have really big, grand adventures. Old opportunities from the past can come back around to help you to do something really fun and really exciting and really spontaneous. This is going to provide you opportunities to align who you are and the way that you show up and shine in the world with your values, with your morals, with your ethics, with your integrity. All wonderful things. This could very literally be a travel opportunity that comes up for you where it changes your life and provides opportunities. Even if the opportunity is just an opportunity for you to relax and rest and feel good, it's still an opportunity. So pay attention to these things. If they come up for you, wonderful, jump on that. And if you haven't already done so, make sure you watch the video about the Jupiter-Neptune conjunctions. You can learn more about the entirety of this ongoing transit. And that is Pisces. All right. So you guys, for next week, it is eclipse season again. So we are into eclipse season officially, beginning in the next forecast with the new moon and partial solar eclipse in the sign of Taurus. It's going to be at 10 degrees in Taurus. And this is going to be making a sextile to Mars in Pisces. I like this a little bit. You know, I'm partial to eclipses. I really enjoy the eclipse energies, but this one seems like it's not going to be too terrible. It is going to be in opposition to Uranus. It is going to be stimulating the upcoming conjunction between Uranus and the North Node, but it's kind of the opposite end of that. So there could be a shakeup. There could be a big disruption. There could be the need to take action to start something new that is going to eventually turn out to be very disruptive to your current paradigm, to your current comfort zones. This is where we're all going to have to embrace discomfort, because change is coming, and it's coming in a way that we couldn't see previous to this time period, or we couldn't, that is just beyond our wildest expectations, because it's in an area that we thought was static, stable, that we thought was unchanging, and all of a sudden it's being subject to change. That energy is accelerating. We're already starting to feel it, but it's going to be very, very big in the coming weeks. And so we'll be talking about that in 2 weeks in our forecast for that new moon and the waxing phase of the eclipse season. So I'll see you guys next time. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like the video, subscribe to my channel, and make sure you share this with your friends if you feel like they could benefit from the information that I just gave to you today. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, everyone.